Had to unmute myself. Good evening. Good evening. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I am officially live. I know I've been missing in action for a couple of weeks. My apologies. I wanted to hop on right here tonight to say good evening, Merry Christmas, whatever you believe in. That time is coming, okay? I know I'm ready for Christmas to be done and over with, me personally. But that's another story for another day. I feel like there's something on my face. But for you guys that don't know me, my name is Kayla Joshua, and I am a financial services mentor. And I wanted to talk tonight about the whole buy now, pay later thing. I don't know if you can hear me. Drop a one in the chat. I want to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. I'm gonna see if I can access the group from my phone. If I can't see both online at the same time. Let me see. Un momento, por favor. Facebook, it is. Y'all, I got an Android now, and I don't know how to work Androids. I only know how to work iPhones. Don't ask me why I bought an Android. I call myself trying to do something different. But they both have their pros and cons. I can see that. But it's definitely different navigating Android versus an iPhone, especially when you've been navigating an iPhone forever after all of these years. I can't find myself on live. I don't know. I'm on live, I guess. I'm assuming. But for those who don't know me, my name is Kayla Joshua, and I am a financial services strategist. And so my goal is to help people, especially in my community, learn how to grow and scale their business and make 100K in 90 days using my framework, and it's very profitable. And if you're interested in coaching, definitely let me know. But I wanted to hop on today and talk about the whole buy now, pay later thing. I noticed that some of my family members are using it. And I know back in the day, we used to have like layaway. Y'all remember layaway at Walmart, stuff like that? Like you have to layaway if you couldn't afford to buy everything at one time. So we had layaway back in the day, but now I noticed that people are layaway in Jordans. Well, I still call it layaway, whatever it's called. But people are layaway in Jordans. They layaway in Christmas stuff and things like that. So it's like, when do you get to a point where you realize like these interest rates are super high? It's super high. It's ridiculous. So is it a strategy? Hey, Stan, thank you. You can hear me. Hey, Makiko. Like, is this a strategy to basically keep us like locked in with them where we can't get out this hole? When I found out people was layaway in Jordans, I was like, you gotta be joking. Like you can't be serious right now. But it's real. It's real. So I don't know if people are aware of the pros and cons that comes with this. Like the interest rate is super high. You paying for that same item a million times over. Like, how often have we chosen convenience over cost? Like it's like going to 7-Eleven. You go to the store and you buy that same thing of water and it costs $3, but you go to the grocery store and buy a pack of water for $3. So when are we going to get to a point where we just stop being lazy and choosing convenience over cost? Or do we do this because we feel like we're obligated to do these things? Somebody said clearing and afterpay is such a scam. Yes, they want us forever. Oh, absolutely. Like, are we doing these things to appease society? Because we feel like, oh, well, if our kids don't have X, Y, and Z, other people kids or other people gonna make us feel some type of way, especially for the holiday season. I definitely need to figure out how to see these other comments. Let me see. Somebody said, hey Kayla, hi Facebook user, whoever it is. And so I'm able to figure out how to work this dang on Android and see who the heck I'm talking to at this point. Let me see here. But like, are we gonna continue to fall in this trap and do this, or are we going to do what we feel is right? Because I understand like everybody is different and it's a reason for the season, but We're to the point where we're just going with the flow because we're trying to make everybody else feel, happy and appeased. But at the end of the day, how we're going to continue to pay our bills and how we're going to continue to live if we're so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses, the Williams, and everybody else. So, granted, I don't know if you guys consider this a financial topic, but I definitely see it once I found out that so many people are using it. Oh, my nose itching for so many things. Personally, I was a single mom, still is for a very long time. So I felt the guilt of not being able to provide. I've used, you know, White and the Jeffersons, that part. I've used, layaway and stuff, and I did what I needed to do to get by. But now people are taking it really to the extreme where they're doing this just so they can have the same shoes as everybody else or the same clothes as everybody else. So it's Klarna, Afterpay, Zazzle. It's so many of these companies that I don't even know how to describe it. They're all over the place. So, what do we do to try to combat this? How do we set up some type of debt or financial literacy as the people so we're not putting ourselves in this situation all year long? I worked at the credit union for many, many years. And at the credit union, they had something called um, it was a Christmas account where you can basically open up this account and a portion of your pay went to this account every time you got paid, whether it's $25, $50, etc. And I do like that because it's like we're not putting ourselves in this continuous bind in order to try to get by. So even, it's like paying yourself. Even it even states, like, in the Bible, back in the Old Testament, they had tithes back then. It wasn't money, it was like your first sheep, your first cattle, things like that. So it always been where you had to pay first. So why not pay yourself? Pay your tithes and of course pay yourself first. So we're not putting ourselves in this situation. Oh, I have to pay. We're not putting our self in this situation over and over again. Oh, hey, Chappelle. That was Chappelle. We're not putting ourselves in this situation over and over again and putting ourselves in a bind to try to keep up with everybody else. And then also, too, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, I'm originally from Chicago. And when I tell you my family in Chicago, baby, they have a blast all the time. They have so many parties. They have fun. They dress down to the nine. Okay, what I've got on right now, okay, my hair in a ponytail and a bun, unacceptable. You better not come out in Chicago looking like this. That's out. But that's the mentality that we had coming up, that you have to look a certain type of way. You can't go to the corner store without a white fresh tee on and some white forces. You got to look like something if you in Chicago. And I thought that was the norm. Every holiday, I was just explaining to my friend Sharita, I was like, I didn't buy anything for Christmas for my daughter to wear. And I thought about it. I'm so glad I'm over that. I'm so glad I'm over that mindset because we used to be fresh to death in Vegas too, because we came from Chicago to Las Vegas to sit on the couch and look cute. What's the point? What's the point? So I'm not saying it's nothing wrong with looking good, because when you look good, you feel good. And that's actually something mental, emotional, and you should get up every day and look your best. So that way you can feel your best. But when are you going to do this for you and yourself, and you're not doing it for everybody else? You're not doing it to keep up a certain, presentation for society. Because trust and believe, if something happened to you, society not about to pay your bills. They're not about to do nothing for you. And we all, even though the government hasn't technically said it, we're struggling right now. We're in a recession, but they haven't admitted that we're in a recession. They're not going to tell us that because they don't want us to be freaking out. They don't want us to be freaking out right now. Hey, Rolanda. So we need to put ourselves in a position where we're not trying to rob Peter to pay Paul and get these things just to make our kids feel some type of way. and they're gonna play with that stuff and throw that stuff away. Like y'all know them kids you buy all them presents for, and they have more fun with the wrapping paper and more fun with the box than they do the actual present. We're not really doing that for them kids. We're doing it because as parents, it makes us feel better. It makes us feel better. We could be taking that money and invested in ourselves. Makiko says self-love and self-care is definitely what I'm on right now. Yes, absolutely, Makiko. It's a transition for myself as well. I try to listen to things that help me work on my inside. My outside may not look how I want it to look today, but I'm focused on my inside right now. Because if you nasty on the inside, you're gonna be nasty on the outside. And no matter what you have on, that facade, hey pops, my dad on here. No matter what you have on, that facade is not gonna work. So you have to work on your inside and it'll help everything else. So I just really wanted to, like I said, introduce a little bit about my story and where I'm coming from, because this is nothing that's new to me, and I'm definitely not above anybody else. Because I've been in that same situation and in that same boat, but I'm just learning how to come out of that. I have a cousin I used to look up to when I was a kid. When I tell you she had about 50 pairs of shoes, anything you can name, barrettes and stuff for her kids, garbage can size full of stuff. But what does all of that do for us as a person? How does that? There's no assets in that. That's not helping you build at all. You know, the same money that we're giving to our children and our family and these gifts, we can use it to them, buy them stocks, buy them land. It's so many other things that we can do to invest in ourselves and invest in our children, so that way we're leaving something for them. You know, I have a client who told me the other day she's going to pay for credit repair for her 2 adult children for Christmas. I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought that was cool. Something that somebody could do something with. Now, hopefully she teaches them what goes along with that. But to just even have the thought of that, I think that was really good. Some of the pros, though, you know, I'm not going to speak all negative. Some of the pros about being able to do these buy now, pay laters is, you know, it's easy to qualify. You know, a lot of people credit isn't up to par, so it's a little bit easier to qualify. And it's, you know, immediate gratification, and they're very flexible. So if you want to go out and do something, if that's what you have to do, by all means do it. But just be, hey LaPoya, just be mindful of what you're getting, because you don't want to put yourself in a lot of debt. And then, you know, management, you know, break down into smaller manageable payments. You want to pay it off as soon as possible, because the whole goal is 2024. We're walking into this with all positivity. We manifesting all great things for our lives, for our businesses here in this group. This is a group of small business owners, and we're going to be big business owners about time we finish this, okay? So we walking into this with positivity and strength. We're not walking into debt in 2024. Now, some of the cons I would say is, of course, it accumulates debt. You're starting off your new year with debt. So, and you do have that risk of overspending, and then it will in fact impact your score if it's not paid. And it's a lot of hidden fees and terms and conditions in that fine print. So, you know, keep in mind, hey sis, hey Catherine, you know, reading is fundamental. You know, you have to pay attention to the terms and conditions that you're getting when you get ready to, you know, make this decision. Are you making this decision out of a want, or are you making this decision out of a need? Don't let society or anybody else tell you you have to get X, Y, and Z for your kids. It's so many other options out here for us in order to make our children feel some type of way. Plus, it teaches them how to be more receptive and acceptable to the things that they get. They'll have some type of understanding, you know, of what's going on. I have a 11-year-old daughter, my youngest, if you're not including the grandkids. And it's, you know, things that I tell her all the time, like, do you realize that you have more than other people? Some kids, like she had a choir concert the other day. They didn't even have a ride to the concert. Their parents didn't even come. So it's the little things. It's the little things that we need to be grateful for. It says that you have to be mindful of the little things. How do you want God to give you the big things and you can't even take care of the little things he gave you? It's not about the amount of the things, it's about how you take care of those things and what makes it meaningful in the long run. So, trying to remember the reason for the season. So, I have came up with a couple of steps to help you evaluate that situation when it comes to the buy now, pay later. So the first one is number one, assessing your financial situation. Can you really truly afford this? Can you afford it? If it say $200, save $200, but you got to pay $500 to get it, you're not you're not saving $200. You're spending $500. So, do you really need it? Assess it. Think about it. Just don't jump into a decision before you get ready to make this purchase. Even granted you don't have it, you still have to pay for it eventually. And then the second one was, like I stated, understanding the terms and conditions. What are you, in fact, agreeing to? Y'all out here signing away your whole life history. Hey, Josie, just because you want to make somebody else happy for the holidays. What are you signing and what are you agreeing to when it comes to the terms and conditions? And not just in buying now, paying later, anything in life. Reading is fundamental. Make sure you're understanding the terms and conditions and what you're accepting. And if you don't understand, it's okay. Have somebody else explain it to you. Because I promise you, it's like they putting it in Chinese, it's in another language. So make sure that you're understanding exactly what it is that you're agreeing to. Then the third step I would say is budgeting for payments. You want to, if you are in fact, or you have no choice but to do it, make sure that you meet a schedule. Most of these places, they want you to pay every single week. Want you to pay every single week. So if you know that that's not going to be feasible for you, then it's best to not even make that decision and find another way, or wait on tax time to come. Wait on tax time to come. Tax time is literally a couple of weeks away. Most people who can't afford Christmas presents, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just keeping it real, are those who are low income people, because the people who have a lot of money, they're not buying traditional presents. They're buying, like I said, stocks, they're buying bonds, they're buying land, they're buying educational programs. So make sure you just let them know that it's going to come at a later time. It's going to come at a later date. You don't have to get it right now. Everything in life happens for a reason. It may not happen when you want it to, but trust and believe it's going to be right on time. Okay. So just take that time to debrief and feel, what is it that if this is something that I really, really need before you go into that purchase, whether you have the money or not. Hey, Christina, how you doing? So make sure you take that into consideration. Like I said, most of these places, they want you to pay every single week. And the interest rate is crazy. I mean, the average interest rate on a personal loan, I haven't checked recently, but typically used to be between 6 and 8%. So imagine what the interest rates will be on these buy now, pay laters. Just imagine. I'm going to have to Google it just to see what the current interest rate is with Klarna and Affirm, because I'm pretty sure it's something crazy. Interest at payday loan places is like 400% interest, and that's serious. No lie, no cap, no shade, as the kids say. Those are typical interest rates because they know people don't read the terms and conditions. And then also compare your options. Will it be cheaper if you do? Hey, Tatiana, will it be cheaper if you do have a credit card to put on your credit card temporarily versus you going through one of these places? Is it a necessity over a need? These are things that we have to ask ourselves before we decide to make these decisions this holiday season. These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. Back on, because I can't get away from it, back on the tax aspect of it, like I said, wait till tax season. I know this is off topic, but tax refunds are for those who can't afford to live the rest of the year. Hope you guys know that, right? If you know that, drop a 2 in the chat. If you're going to watch the replay later, still drop the 2 in the chat. There are income guidelines, standard deductions, head of household deductions. These are income guidelines. So if the government is giving you $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000, It's not because it's free money. It's because they're saying, hey, we know you don't make enough money. I see a couple of twos. We know you don't make enough money to live off of for the rest of the year. So we're giving you enough money to supplement your income for your household size. Think about that. If they're giving you all of this money come January, February, March, they're giving it to you because they know you don't make enough money to pay your rent. They know you don't make enough money to pay your utilities. They know this. And so because they know this, based on a formula that they come up with, you know, how many people in your home, are you single, married, etc., widowed, how many children you have. If you're making between 13 and 17,000 a year, you're going to get a good refund because they know you don't make enough money. So even when you get that money, God forbid, of course, you deserve to treat yourself. I'm not one to tell you what to do with it, but just think about the future. Play chess and not checkers, because this is supposed to hold you over for the rest of the year. This is supposed to hold you over for the rest of the year. If you don't have enough money, that means you didn't make enough money all year to live off of. So when you do get that money, if you couldn't afford to do anything right now, then yes, by all means, do it later, but still try to spend it wisely. Try to spend it wisely. So, you know, for future references, we need to find out how can we use this buy now, pay later thing that they're hitting us with left and right everywhere we go. No matter where you go, they have a buy now, pay later. How can we use it as a tool of empowerment instead of a tool to get in more debt? You got to try to figure out a way. If I had to use it, me personally, I would get it for something that's about to make me make more money. That's the only way that I would get it. If I needed it to pay for something right now, say if I needed it for a coaching program, say if I needed it for an educational, program, use it, or I needed to invest short term and use it to make more money to buy more property. Find a way. Oh, my eyeball hurts. Find a way to use it to be able to, hi Claudine, to be able to invest in your future and invest in yourself and you invest in your family to get more money. I can't get away from taxes. Sorry, because when something on my spirit and it's on my heart, I have to say it, or else I feel like I'm not being obedient. Cash advances. I offer cash advances. So do a million other tax professionals. Read the terms and conditions on your cash advances, because you just really getting your own tax money ahead of time. And you're paying an interest rate on that as well. Typically, the interest rate ranges at like 40% to get your money ahead of time. But you do know the IRS typically pays out tax returns if everything is done accordingly and smoothly, due diligence, in 21 days. So if you don't need the money right away, don't pay extra money to get a cash advance, because you're still taking more money out of your pocket. I know I'm shooting myself in the foot as a tax professional, but I can't do nothing but keep it 100 with y'all. If you don't need the money right now, don't get it right now. If you can afford to pay for your tax return up front, whether it be $250 or $300, pay for it so you can avoid the bank fee. That's another thing these tax professionals will not tell you. You know, the bank fee can range anywhere from $100 to $250, depending on the financial institution, that the tax preparer goes through. So if you're a person who can wait on their funds, by all means, please do that and pay upfront for your, don't get a cash advance and pay upfront. Pay that $199, $200, $350, whatever they're charging you to do your taxes. So that won't come out of your tax refund. The bank fee won't come out of your tax refund, and any other interest you're paying on these cash advances to come from your tax refund. I just had to say it because people get 6 and 7,000 back, and that's a lot of money for people who don't have a lot of means. And then when they finally get their tax refund, they say, I got $800 missing. It's not missing. You got a cash advance, you got to pay interest on the cash advance, you got a bank fee, etc. All of that stuff is going to come out of your tax refund if you're not reading your terms and conditions. So all of it is it's fundamental. It's really more so, like I stated, if this is a want or a need. And however you decide to convince yourself, hey, I'm not here to judge. But just think about the whole reason for everything and make sure you're doing this stuff out of love and that you can afford to do what you're doing. Don't let anybody, any companies or anyone put you in debt that you don't need to be in. Everything can wait. It's not that important. I'm not saying don't do it if you don't have to, but it can wait. It can wait. It's not mandatory. So once again, the 5 steps is assess your personal financial situation. Can you truly afford this purchase? Number one, think about it. Number two, understanding your terms and conditions. Reading is fundamental. Reading is good for the brain, okay? If you don't understand it, have somebody else break it to you. Don't be ashamed to say, I don't get it. I tell people real fast, especially when they fast talking, because I have a phobia against people that fast talk. I'll be like, I don't understand. Can you please slow that down and break it down to me? And I will tell you, I don't understand. Okay, so don't let anybody fast talk you. Make sure you understanding what you're signing up for, the terms and conditions. Number three, budgeting for payments. If you can't afford to pay it weekly or bi-weekly, whatever their payment arrangement is, that's a telltale sign you don't need it. You don't need that purchase. Number four, compare your options. Is it better if I use my credit card? Is it better I get it at a later time when tax season comes? Is it better? Is it best I don't get it at all? Or do I need to get this now? Is it something that I have to get now? And last but not least, the fifth reason was make sure you build that safety net for emergency purposes. Most people say 3 months. And I know, like I said, the economy is really hard right now. It's hard to say for the next 2 weeks. I understand. But if you're working right now, starting in January, let's put some money to the side. Do like a 52-week challenge so you're not putting yourself in debt. You're not putting yourself in debt. So start saving now. If you can try to start saving 3 months ahead of time, use your tax return as your emergency money. Use that. So try to find ways to not put yourself in a bind. Like, say I'm in the bind, Nate. We're not about to be in no binds in 2024. Okay, if I have anything to say about it. So apply all the steps, if need be. And if you have any question or if you need a budgeting sheet, I have a great budgeting sheet I still use to this day. I've been using it for over 2 decades. I can definitely send it to you. And I just want you guys to enjoy your holidays. And if you have, like I said, want to talk about any other budgeting tips or tools or anything finance for small business, if you have any suggestions, let me know and we can go live and we can talk about it. And we could probably do another master class. Okay, Josie, I'll send it to you. I think I already sent you that budget sheet, Josie, but I'm going to look and send it again. But I'm gonna double check. Hey, Saran, but definitely contact me because I would love to have it as an open discussion. Even if we have a Zoom one day and I send out the Zoom link to everybody, so that way we all can correspond and be on the same page. My name is Kayla Joshua. You can definitely contact me at joinkayla.com and have a happy holiday. No matter what you believe in, make sure you enjoy your family and your time with your kids because that's more than any money, and that's not, it's irreplaceable.